Welcome to We Are the People with Tracy Marks and Jorge Estomba, who ask you to know what's happening with your student loan. Tracy and Jorge keep a deep look at student loans in this country and the industries that surround it. Every week, We Are the People will bring you new insight into the corporate welfare industry, such as bailouts, and they connect with student loans. The show will highlight on your constitutional rights and how the current system is built to infringe upon them. Join the conversation by visiting our website chat room at wearethepeople.tv. Or call the show at 888-565-1470 and let us hear from you. And now, let's tune in to Tracy and Jorge for this week's discussion.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of We Are the People. This is August 4th, 2014. We're coming to you live from Boca Raton, or Boca Raton, which is the correct pronunciation. And you know by now, probably, if you're listening to this program, that means the mouse of the mouth. And as you know, when I always mention this about the mouse, I lead into the rat of the week. And many times these people that I mention as rat of the week really are more than for the week, but since I have one every week, well, that's the way it is. But I feel some of these people, in all seriousness, this is not a joke, just to bring any levity. These are people that I feel, along with my organization, MoveOn.org, second largest social activist organization in the United States, with over 8 million people as members. We feel these people that we mentioned, this is my own, that I go on and mention these people as rat of the week, but these are people that are recognized to be figures in politics or another endeavor that are really doing a lot of damage to this country. So I don't want to make light of this, but a little levity never hurts. I just wanted to explain to you because somebody called me last week and said that it was kind of funny and so forth, and I'm glad people are enjoying it, the rat of the week. But just remember, these people that I do mention are people that, in my opinion, are very dangerous to our country. They're doing a lot of harm. They have their own agenda. Sometimes we don't know what they are, but we do know that it is a personal agenda, and it's an overall situation that is not in any way positive for our country, which is the main purpose that I fight as an activist, is for our country, not for anything else. The rat of the week is Senator Marco Rubio, the senator from the state of Florida, one of the two senators, the other one being Bill Nelson. Marco Rubio has a problem in denying, I call him the great denier. Marco Rubio is a man who is fighting against science. Marco Rubio repeatedly has said that he does not believe that we are in the midst of a global warming, which has so many repercussions to our country and to the world. But let's speak about our country. He has said this is a propaganda of the Obama regime, of liberals, of communists, socialists, etc. That's typical agenda for a Cuban American. I'm very proud to be a Cuban American, but we seem to hide when we don't like something with that mask of communism and socialism, which they don't even understand what socialism is. But in any way, let's keep with communism. To me, that's disrespectful. That's being ignorant. The guy who's being an a-hole about that is himself. And I just want people to realize what that means. 98% of the scientists around the world have, in fact, stated very vehemently that there is such a thing as global warming. We are in the midst of global warming. It has tremendous repercussions. Cities will be flooded. There's erratic climatic behavior. We can have snowstorms, we can have dust bowls, we can have droughts. It has tremendous repercussions. Now, on top of the 98% globally, in our own country, because at one time he said, well, I'm paraphrasing, what do these scientists from other countries know? Well, you know, we're not the only ones that have great scientists. You know, I mean, there's Germany, Japan, England, France, there's a number of countries, Switzerland, that have great scientists. We're not the only ones. But if you want to take it that route, Well, guess what? It's 100% of the National Academy of Sciences in the United States of America. Let me repeat that. 100% of the members of the National Academy of Sciences in our own country, the United States of America, just in case he doesn't realize where we're at, because at times he seems to be in another world, okay, in another planet. That's the country that we're talking about, and those are the scientists, not from Bangladesh or from Mongolia, but from this, our own country that he represents. Now, if we have a senator that does not want to listen to fact, that does not want to admit that science is right because he's not a scientist, nothing close to being a scientist, and even if he was, he is in a vast minority. He's not a scientist. He doesn't know anything about science. He's never produced any document of any type that would show any type of theory that is half intelligent, with half intellect. What he's said is strictly that this is not true, that this is propaganda, and that it's nonsense, and so forth and so on. And of course, he makes light of this. He makes fun, and he insults people who spent their lifetime studying the sciences. Okay? Again, what does this have to do aside from the fact that we have to address, and I know very little about the environment because I'm not a scientist. I didn't bring the documents, which I will in another program. But here's what I want to go over regarding Rubio, which really is very scary. And I want you to think about this, folks. If you have a person who represents you and is not willing to face reality, to face the truth, to face documented fact, to face empirical scientific evidence from our own country, then we have a person who doesn't want to listen to anybody, and that's why he goes on his own tangents. He has his own personal agenda, because if you don't want to listen to reason and to documented fact, that's a person who's problematic. Okay? Anybody who does not want to listen to documented fact is somebody that's problematic and should not have any type of responsible position. If I were to go against documented fact in my end of the business, which is marketing, sales and marketing, okay, business management, and I would go against theory with my boss, something that is proven inside that company, scientifically, over the years, 100% by marketers, I would lose my job. I would be ridiculed. And this man gets away with that here in South Florida primarily because, you know, he's the Cuban-American kid and, you know, he's fighting for Cuba and now he's fighting for Venezuela. Well, we need somebody that has reason. We need somebody that accepts the facts, not somebody who is just somebody that just goes out and talks for the sake of talking and is convincing people somehow because of that face he has. Apparently he has that gift of I don't know how, because I don't think he's very eloquent, but in any event, he does fool a lot of people, and that worries me. These are people that they cannot handle the truth. Like Jack Nicholson said, he cannot handle the truth. That hurts him, because I don't know what type of agenda he has. I don't know how that hurts to admit that we are in a problem scientifically. I have no idea. I have no idea, but I want to bring this out because, you know, it's enough when we have a guy that doesn't do much and all he does is stir up controversy and worry about my homeland of Cuba, which I love, but I live in the United States of America. We have a lot of problems. That's not priority for anybody who is in Congress. I don't care where they're from. Priority is this country. So I don't know what the problem with this man is. I do know that he's somebody who's not realistic, who doesn't have his 2 feet on the ground, and we have somebody like that. I want to point it out. I want people to think about it and say, wow, do we really want a person of this type representing us when he cannot handle the truth, when he doesn't want to admit? Because now what's happened is, now, of course, it's a point of no return, but you know what? there's a point in time, no matter what, if you have dignity, if you're a true leader, you have to say, you know what, I was wrong. That's what a leader is all about. That's what a man of character is all about. That's what a person of dignity is all about. Okay? Now he's deep in because he went so far, but he doesn't have the courage and the dignity which is necessary to be a leader to admit, I was wrong. And I wanted to bring this up because a person who is so intent on lying and not accepting the scientific fact, to me, is a person who does not belong in the responsibility of representing us as a United States Senator. That's my rat of the week. I went a little bit overboard with that because it bothers me when people lie outright lies and cannot say, I made a mistake. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is lying. When you make a mistake, face up to it. That's what's important, especially from our leaders. And he's not the only one that is not capable of saying, you know what, I made a mistake. People respect that. People will look up to you. People will believe in you. You'll have credibility. But that's a thing of the past, apparently, with a lot of our politicians. He's not the only one, but he's one of the adamant ones regarding this issue. And I thought it was perfect to bring up somebody that doesn't deserve to be in the seat he's in because he's a liar and he doesn't respect what scientists, people of knowledge, are talking about, a serious and critical problem that we're facing. That is the first subject in our program tonight. The next one is that I'm very glad to have learned that there have been over 1 million petitions signed regarding the student loan issue, which Tracy Marks, which by the way, co-host of this program, always takes this day off for research and other personal things that she does to get involved. She's very involved in student loans, as you know. And she's going to be very happy. I already sent her the article, the note, and I'm sure she knows about it anyway. But over 1 million people signed a petition stating that they want the government to get involved to help them in some manner or fashion. Now let me put that in perspective. To get a million people to sign a petition, that's a lot of signatures, my friends, because a lot of petitions, when you get it, and there's a tremendous drive, and it's one of the means that we now go about electronically, and it's a tremendous tool for any organizer or any political movement, social movement, are the petitions. You'll see on there we need 15,000 signatures. 50,000. 100,000 is a major task. So when you get 1 million, that is a tremendous outcry from the American people. Very rarely will you see 1 million signatures and counting on anything of any nature. There's just a handful of things that have been able to garner 1 million petition signatures. This is a great, great move by the people. We should be proud that we're finally getting involved in what is critical to us. We need students to have faith in our system, to say, I'm going to study. We need the parents to encourage their children to study, because without an education, nothing can exist. There is no country of any consequence in the world, in the history of the world, that means anything, or again, of any consequence, if we don't have a top-notch educational system. These poor kids that are studying are under tremendous pressure, tremendous tension. When they're studying right now, they have to drop out. The new ones coming aboard that are high school graduates, the parents are concerned. They can't afford. They're very hesitant. They're concerned. They're worried. It is a horrible situation when people who are very capable of going on and contributing to our society. We need scientists. We need teachers. We need doctors. We need engineers. We need everything, because that's what a country is made up of, society. We are already in a situation whereby we have mentioned, and Tracy has mentioned, how poorly we're doing when we compare to the industrialized and first world nations around the world. We test last in science, and we test last in math, which are the two primary subjects that are necessary in life, because everything revolves around science and math. So for the government not to give a break, for the government, this Congress specifically, the least productive Congress in the history of the United States. When you compare it to the other least productive Congress, it is that Congress produced 50% more bills and laws than this particular one. This is a Congress that does nothing. It's politicized. It's just stop and stop and stop and don't let any get through. Well, this is something that we need to keep on fighting, and I'm very proud as an activist that people are getting off their seats and are fighting for something that is necessary: education, senior level education, college, university education. And Tracy has fought very hard on this subject. She is really committed to this, and we need more people like that, like Tracy Marks, and we need more people to keep on signing these petitions, because what Congress did was give tax breaks to the rich, the 1% and 2%. Give tax breaks and loopholes to the corporations, to the mega rich. And what did they do? They made it worse. They made it harder for these students to comply with the current loans they have. And the incoming student population or potential population is not going to go to college. They can't afford it. Their parents don't have the money. So these people will stay out of college, they will get their high school degree, and then we'll be a country of high school graduates, and that's why we're getting eaten up by China and the Asian countries and Western European countries, because we will not be able to compete. We've always competed because we had a great system. Those countries have other systems. They have very good systems in Western Europe, but we've always been the nation where we've had all the science, technology, most of it, not all of it, obviously. A lot of it come from here. Most of the things invented in the world come from this country. Things are changing. We're no longer that leader because we no longer have the educational system to feed those students and to get them to study the careers that are needed to keep up. And if we keep thinking that because we have always been number one and we're the United States of America, and keep with that rally, okay, that's fictitious. We need to work for everything we earn. All these countries work very hard for everything they earn. Western Europe, China, Japan. Nothing comes free. We're not going to get it because we're the United States of America. We have to educate our people. We have to give them tax breaks. We have to give them lower interest rates. We have to give them some breaks like we give and exonerate a lot of people that make a lot of money, and we are so creative, and this is what's really bothers me and is so problematic. We go out of our way, as the Congress goes out of our way, not we. Congress goes out of the way to be creative so that the rich, the 1% or 2% of this country, and the mega corporations are the ones that get help and that keep on growing and that get richer and richer. And that saying that the richer get richer and the poorer get poorer, look at the statistics. I've mentioned them. I won't do it today because of lack of time, but I will. We are getting poorer massively. More than ever, the 2% and the 1% is ruling this country. And it ties in because the Congress does not want to help the people, do not want to help the students. And just to show you how this ties in, I just read an article whereby Walgreens, who in 2013 generated $73 billion, that's billion with a B as in boy, they're going to go the route of many mega corporations whereby they now are going to go and say that they will be a Swiss company. There's a town in Switzerland which is a corporate haven. The Swiss are very ingenious, and of course they have it there, and we allow them to do it. More power to them. They're not doing anything illegal. The Swiss have always been very ingenious. That's how they survive with a landlocked country without any resources, and it's one of the richest countries in the world. Well, what have they come up with? Well, then now they have a tax haven in a small city called Lutz. Okay? 60 Minutes ran a program a couple of years ago. Like everything in Switzerland, everything's beautiful, everything's great, I mean, fantastic, the flowers, the gardens. That town, which is a very small town, very modern again, okay, with all the luxuries, all it is buildings filled with foreign corporations that register because their laws, in other words, our laws in this respect, allow a Walgreens, among many other companies, to go there, register as a Swiss company in paperwork. It's all accounting. And guess what? Walgreens, in this manner and fashion, which they're doing it right now, like many other corporations have done, and Congress knows about it. The program ran 2 years ago in 60 Minutes, which I was surprised because the national media does not get involved in controversial things like that because they're owned by corporate mega corporations. But I do hand it to 60 Minutes. They are the only program on the network that gets involved with matters like this, and they are very informative. That was over 2 years ago where Leslie Stahl did that program directly from Switzerland. Did anything happen with that? No, of course not. Congress did nothing. The corporate world, there was a couple of corporate moguls interviewed, and they were going to do something about it. And senators, were talking that, yeah, they really didn't know about this, and they were going to fix it. BS. Nothing has been done. So Walgreens, like many other, and let me go back to Walgreens, Walgreens will pay because of this system that we allow, okay, which is just paperwork. They'll be a Swiss company from now on. They will not pay over $4 billion in taxes, my friends. $4 billion in taxes over the next 4 years. An average of $1 billion in revenue that this country needs desperately. And we cannot help student loans? And we give breaks to corporations in that manner? Guess who makes up that? Well, we make it up by contributing more in taxes because our tax rate is higher than the mega rich. And how else do we pay for it? By not having social programs. And social programs is not only social welfare, which, by the way, every industrialized and first-rate country in the world has it. It's necessary. There are people who just don't have the means. Are there abuses? Of course. Okay? But it's not only social welfare. This is money that goes into education. And we allow these corporations to get away by not paying billions of dollars of taxes, and then we pay the price because we cannot get proper health insurance, where we want to cut Social Security, where we don't help students, where our schools, some of them in major cities like Detroit and other areas, are third world rate, and we're not doing that great here in our own state of Florida. And it's because the Congress does not care about us. We need to go out and speak our voice. Go on the computer. Go on signon.org. Signon.org. The easiest petition that you could ever do in your life will be through there. It's user-friendly. I encourage you, please go on. Continue with this drive. Tell our Congress people we no longer have to write letters like when I was in college, okay, which was an ordeal because you're always very busy writing letters and so forth. We don't even have to fax anymore like at one time. Phone calls are still being utilized because they track that very much. But guess what's the easiest thing to do? It takes you 30 seconds to sign one of these petitions. You want to start one? I'm going to show you next week or within 2 weeks how to do a petition. It's very simple. We need, and I've said it before, we all need to be activists, okay? I'm a professional activist. I get paid for what I do with Move On and other things. But we're all activists because if we don't act, we're going to lose our democracy. Anything that is not put to use is lost. Just like a car, just like a machinery, you're told you have to start it up, otherwise it's going to go wrong. So please, we need to be active. That doesn't mean you have to go out there and rally and protest and make signs, which I think it's fantastic in a democratic system, and by the way, in a peaceful manner, always following the Constitution. Please be active. Please help the students. Please, let's have the corporations pay the taxes that they need to pay so that we can survive and be the democracy in the great country that we can be, which we've lost a lot. But we're going to do it with people being active. Thank you. We'll see you next week. And remember, be active, get informed, and stay involved. See you next week. Take care.
Little Joe never once gave it away. Everybody had to pay and pay. A hustle here and a hustle there. New York City
You
is
have
the
been
place
listening
where
to
there's
We Are the People with social advocates Tracy Marks and Jorge Estomba.